One evening, as Adanna sat outside her hut, laughing with her friends, Ejike suddenly appeared, his eyes burned with jealousy. "Why are you laughing with them?" he demanded. Adanna frowned. "They are my friends, Ejike. What is wrong?" He grabbed her hand tightly. "You are mine, Adanna. You should only smile for me." Her heart pounded. This was not the confident, charming Ejike she had loved from afar. This was someone else, obsessed, possessive, almost dangerous. The love spell was working too well, and now Adanna felt trapped. In the village of Umuagu, where the moonlight bathed the land in silver and the trees whispered ancient secrets, a young woman named Adanna longed for love. She had fallen for Ejike, the strong, handsome hunter whom every maiden admired. But Ejike barely noticed her. His heart belonged to Obi, a woman with a laugh like tinkling bells and eyes that shone like the morning sun. Adanna burned with jealousy. It wasn't fear. She loved Ejike more than anyone. She had watched him from afar, dreamed of his touch, yearned for his affection. So, when she heard of the priestess, a woman said to have knowledge of forbidden hearts, she made the decision. She would make Ejike love her. Under the cover of darkness, Adanna made her way to the priestess's hut at the edge of the village. The old woman sat by a flickering oil lamp, her gaze sharp and knowing. "You seek love that does not belong to you," the priestess said before Adanna could even speak. Adanna swallowed hard. "I just want a chance to show him that I love him." The priestess sighed, studying her carefully. "Love must be given freely, child. If you force it, you will pay a price." "I will do whatever it takes," Adanna insisted. The priestess hesitated, then reached into a clay pot and pulled out a small vial of dark red liquid. "Mix this in his drink," she said. "He will love you, but be warned, if love is taken by force, it will twist into something unnatural." Adanna clutched the vial tightly. "I don't care about warnings. I just want him to be mine." The next day, Adanna prepared a sweetened palm wine and secretly poured the portion into Ejike's cup during a village gathering. He drank, and at first nothing happened. But then his gaze looked onto Adanna, as if seeing her for the first time, as if she was the only woman in the world. He rushed to her, cupping her face in his hands. "Adanna," he whispered, eyes filled with longing. "How could I have been so blind? It is you I love." Adanna's heart soared. It had worked. Obi, who had just been sitting by Ejike's side just moments before, gasped in shock. The villagers murmured. How could Ejike love Adanna so suddenly? But Adanna didn't care. She had won. Days turned into weeks, and Ejike became obsessed with her. He followed her everywhere, clung to her like a shadow. At first, she basked in his love, but soon it became too much. He wouldn't let her speak to anyone. He grew violent whenever another man looked at her. He whispered in the dead of night, "You are mine, only mine." His love wasn't gentle, it was suffocating. And then it got worse. Ejike stopped sleeping. He stared at Adanna for hours, unblinking, smiling. He spoke in strange voices. Sometimes he wept and clutched his head, whispering, "Something is inside me. I can't stop it." One night, Adanna awoke to find him standing over her, his eyes pitch black. "Why are your eyes like that?" she whispered in terror. Ejike smiled. "Because I love you." She ran straight to the priestess's hut. The old woman took one look at her and sighed deeply. The love potion has turned to poison. His soul is no longer his own. Adanna begged for a solution. The priestess gave her a small bag of white powder. Sprinkle this in a circle around him at midnight. It may drive out the spirit, but hurry before it fully takes over. Adanna rushed back to Ejike, praying it wasn't too late. Midnight came. Ejike sat in their huts, rocking back and forth. His whispers had become cultural growls. Adanna, with trembling hands, sprinkled the powder around him. The moment the last grain touched the ground, Ejike screamed. A black mist burst from his body, twisting and writhing like a living thing. The walls shook. A terrible wind howled through the village, snuffing out torches. The villagers awoke, rushing outside in fear. Ejike collapsed. For a brief moment, there was silence. Then, his eyes snapped open. They were still black, but now they were filled with something else. A hunger. The villagers screamed and fled. Even the chief fell to his knees in terror. The spirit inside Ejike smiled. You wanted love so badly, it whispered. Now, you will never escape it. Adanna tried to run, but she couldn't. Her body froze, trapped by an unseen force. She struggled, but her limbs refused to obey her. Then she felt it, the pull. Suddenly, her strength returned. She ran straight to the priestess's hut, and when she pushed the door open, she froze. The priestess lay on the floor, her lifeless eyes staring at the ceiling, her body twisted unnaturally. The walls of the hut were covered in strange symbols, drawn in what looked like blood. Adanna staggered back, her heart hammering. She turned to run, but Ejike was there, standing right at the doorway. Why did you run from me? He asked. You love me, don't you? Adanna's hands trembled. Ejike, something is wrong with you. His lips stretched into a slow, eerie smile. No, my love, I am perfect. He took a step forward. She stepped back. Then, without warning, he lunged. Adanna screamed and sprinted into the darkness. She ran until her legs gave out, collapsing near the village square. The villagers gathered, their torches flickering against the night. The priestess is dead, Adanna cried. Ejike, something is wrong with him. It's not just the potion, something else is inside him. Chief Okeke and the elders listened, their faces grim. The oldest elder spoke. This is no longer Ejike. The spell has invited the spirit, and now it has claimed him. The priestess had once spoken of a cleansing ritual, but with her dead, only one solution remained. We must trap him, the elders said. The villagers prepared. They drew a sacred circle in the village square, scattering powerful herbs and chanting old incantations. And then Ejike came. His black eyes gleamed in the torchlight. His voice echoed with many voices at once. I will not be caged. Then the villagers stood firm. As he stepped into the circle, the ground shook violently. A dark mist rose from his body. Twisting and writhing like a living thing, Ejike screamed. For a moment, it seemed like they had succeeded. Then, his eyes snapped open. They were still black, but now they were filled with something else. A deep, eerie voice spoke from his lips, but it was not Ejike's. You wanted love so badly, the voice rasped. Now, you will never escape it. Adanna's stomach twisted in fear. She had broken the spell. So, why was this happening? She turned to run, but her legs refused to move. A cold force gripped her, holding her in place. She gasped, struggling, but it was useless. Ejike, or whatever had taken over him, rose to his feet. The dark mist wrapped around Adanna, sending a chill deep into her bones. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. You first loved to obey your will. The spirit continued, stepping closer. Now you will obey mine. Adanna's vision blurred. Her thoughts became cloudy, her will slipping away. She felt something invading her mind, twisting her heart, reshaping her emotions. The fear she felt just moments ago began to fade. She looked up at Ejike again, and suddenly she loved him. Not just loved, worshipped him. She no longer cared that something unnatural had taken over him. She no longer cared about the love spell, the warnings, or the danger. All she knew was that she belonged to him now, forever. The villagers never saw Adanna again. Some believed she had run away in shame. Others whispered that something dark had taken her. But those who walked near the forest at night saw two figures in the shadows, a young woman and a man with empty black eyes. She followed him wherever he went. She spoke only when he spoke, and when strangers came too close, they never returned. Adanna had wanted Ejike's love. Now she had it, but at what cost? The spell didn't just ruin Ejike, it claimed Adanna too. Many moons had passed since Adanna and Ejike vanished into the night. The village of Umuagu never spoke their names aloud, fearing it would summon them, but whispers still spread. Some said they had become spirits, wandering the earth, seeking others to ensnare in their cursed love. Others claimed they still lurked in the deep forest, watching, waiting. Then, one evening, a young maiden disappeared. Her name was Chinelo, a girl with dreams of love, just like Adanna once had. She had often been seen near the old priestess's hut, searching for forgotten secrets, and now she was gone. Only one thing was found, a single black feather lying on the path leading into the forest. The others knew what it meant. The curse had not died, it was only waiting for its next victim.